Is my voice is loud and clear? Online students. Online students, is my voice is loud and clear? Done? So let's start the session. In the last class, we are discussing about the statistical tests, where we are having with respect to the both continuous variables and discrete variables. So statistical tests where for continuous variable, one sample z test, one sample t test, two sample test for equal variance, and facing issue while connecting to the class. Okay, let me check. I will check with the team. Okay, so two sample test for equal variance, two sample test for unequal variance, and ANOVA test, right? So these are used for with respect to for continuous variable. In the last class, we have discussed one sample z test with manual calculation. Also, we have done that is by substituting in the formula. Manual calculation means in substituting in the formulas by taking the mathematical formulas, and we have done this one. And whereas for one sample t test and two sample test, we have directly seen the code also, how to execute using the code. That is in the last class, we have completed these tests. Now in today's class, we are going to move on to the next test called as ANOVA test. ANOVA test is nothing but whenever you are having more than two samples also, that is continuous. Means whenever you are having more than two columns, that two variables are with respect to continuous, then we are going to apply the test called as ANOVA test, right? So it is just applying the concept of ANOVA test. So what is the ANOVA test means? Just let us see this one. First, read the whatever the case study is there. Please read the case study. So we are having a marketing organization outsources their back office operations to three different suppliers. Means some marketing organization, they have given their work to three different suppliers. The contracts were up for renewal. Now they want to do the renewal. And the CMO, that is Chief Marketing Officer. Okay, CMO means Chief Marketing Officer, and wants to determine whether should renew the contracts of all the suppliers or any particular supplier, specific supplier. CMO wants to renew the contract of the supplier which least transaction time. Who is having the least transaction time? For them only, he is going to contract renewal. He is going to do the renewal. If, for example, everyone are performing on the same miss, every contract will be renewed. Means all the three of them are having the same miss, all the three of them will be renewed. If within that my changes are there, if every three of them are not equal, means within that list, whoever the list is there, that particular company or that particular team, they are going to renew the contract. Okay, that particular supplier or other supplier is there. Now let us go to the data set. Let us see the data set. Where I am having the data set is called as, this is the data set contract renewal, where this contract renewal supplier A, supplier B, supplier 3, C. Three suppliers are there. Now these three suppliers, this is the transaction time what they have done for each work. So in the contract time, whatever the contract time is there, in that they have done different works. Not only one single work, they have done multiple works. Out of which supplier has done the first work with 6.15, 6.22, 6.76, 4.29 with respect to whatever we are having is this is the time. So supplier A, supplier B, and supplier C. We are having with supplier A, B, and C. Now we here how many samples are there? Means how many columns are there? Means more than two. So more than two are there. So we can't apply the one sample test because one column is there, means one sample test we can apply. If two columns are there, means two sample test we can apply. Since we are having more than two columns, whenever we are having more than two columns, we have to go with the test called as ANOVA test. What is meant by ANOVA? ANOVA means AN stands for analysis, O stands for off, VA stands for variance. Analysis of variance. Analysis of variance means everyone are equal or not. That is the ANOVA test. ANOVA test says that everyone are equal or not. Analysis of variance test. Now, here by default, we are assuming that what is the null hypothesis? Whenever you are having more than one, what is your null hypothesis? equal means supplier A, supplier B and supplier C, whatever we are having, every supplier is equal, null hypothesis. Whenever the comparison comes, whenever more than one column is there, by default null hypothesis is equal, no difference only. For one sample test only with value we are going to do. For more than one samples, we are only comparing. Okay. So null hypothesis says that supplier A is not equal to supplier B is not equal to supplier C. Everyone are equal. No difference is with respect to null hypothesis. Difference is with alternate hypothesis. Now what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to load in the Python. Okay, let us apply in Python. So inside this so here we are going to select with respect to the next one, bold diameter and this all the things are completed. Now I'm going to work on the contract renewal. First I'm going to load the data. So this data is supplier A, supplier B and supplier C, and average time by all the suppliers are equal, no difference is the null hypothesis. Alternate hypothesis is average time by the suppliers are not equal. Okay, whatever the time by supplier A and supplier B are not equal. Now alpha, what is the alpha? In the given question, is there any alpha was mentioned? No. Since then was not mentioned, by default alpha is equal to 0.05. Now after that, step 1, step 2 completed. Now step 3, what is step 3? Normality. If it is single column means normality. If it is more than 2 columns means normality plus variance. Both we have to check. So now normality. First column normality I'm checking. It is normal. Second column normality. It is normal. Third column normality. This is also normal. So 3 of them are normal. So normal means I can proceed with the statistical test. If it is not normal means I have to convert. Right? Now after that, next one is variances. Whether the variances are equal or not. You have to check whether it is variances are equal or not. Now I am going to apply the Leavening test. In the Leavening test, I am going to give the 3 column names, column 1, column 2 and column 3. And I am going to check the p-value. If the p-value is greater than alpha, what is the Leavening test? Variances are equal. H0 says that variances are equal. That is no difference. Variances are equal is the H0. H1 is variances are not equal. Every time fixed. It is not going to change. Leavening test means fixed. It is not going to change. Leavening test means every time variances are equal is the null hypothesis. Variances are not equal, null alternate hypothesis. Fixed. And based on the p-value, if the p-value is greater than alpha, accept the null hypothesis. So this is Leavening test. Whatever the test we are doing is, this one is null hypothesis with respect to average time of the supplier A is equal to average time of supplier B is equal to average supplier of this one is different. This one is different. Okay. In between we are checking the variances are equal or not. This is different and this is different. Don't confuse with both of them. Right. So this test is for checking the variance only. And this part is completed. You have checked the variance. If all the variances are also equal, then only you have to apply the ANOVA test. Now we are going to apply the ANOVA test. So stats.f underscore one way ANOVA and give all the 3 column names. Column 1, column 2 and column 3. Now whatever the p-value you are going to get, based on the p-value, either accept or reject the null hypothesis. Now since the p-value is greater than alpha, accept the null hypothesis, that is all the suppliers are equal, and you are going to say to the CMO that P is all the suppliers are having equal transaction time, so please renew all of them. So you are going to conclude like this. As a data analyst, you have concluded that renew all the contracts. Renew all contracts. So all suppliers are having equal transaction time. Renew all the contracts. Sir, For example, in this case, all the variances are equal, fine. You are going with ANOVA test. If assume the variances are not equal, now, then we have to go with the two sample tests between A and B, B and C, C and A. You have to check with respect to 2, 2. Every 2, 2 you have to check, and which one is having the equal and which is not having the equal. And according to that, you have to proceed with the 2 sample equal variance or 2 sample with unequal variance. Is that clear? So if it is not equal means you have to check the Leone test between A and B, B and C, and C and A. Separately you have to check, and you have to proceed with the 2 variance only, 2 sample test only. You can't go with the ANOVA test. ANOVA test is applicable when all the data are normal and all the given data should be normal. All the data should be normal and variances also should be equal. Variances also should be equal. Then only we can proceed. End means both the conditions should be satisfied, or means anyone. End means both of them. If both the conditions are satisfied only, we can apply the ANOVA test. If any one of the condition failed also, you can't apply the ANOVA test. You have to work on the 2 sample tests separately. Is that clear? Next, with this, the continuous variables are completed. For the continuous variables, we are having 1 sample, 2 sample, more than 2 samples. Now we are moving on to the discrete variables. With respect to the discrete variables. So within the discrete variable, we are having 1 proportion test, 2 proportion test, and chi-square test. Chi-square test is nothing but more than 2. Again, more than 2. If you are having only 1 column, 2 columns, and more than 2 columns. Here we are not having G test, T test. Again, it is not subdivided. It is very simple. When compared to continuous variable, this is very simple. Now, for discrete variable, what is the hypothesis test is involved? You know, same lines. The first you have to formulate the null and alternate hypothesis. Level of significance common. Third step will not be there. Third step will not be there. Directly, no normality. For a categorical variable, we can't apply the normality, we can't check the skewness, we can't check the variance. For discrete variables, we can't apply that one. For only continuous variable, normality will be applied, that is histogram will be applied. For only continuous variables, variance will be applied. Gender, you are having a column called as single gender. Male, female, male, female, male, female. Assume that in this class only. Let me explain with a simple example. Everyone can see the class now. In front of you, the entire class offline students are sitting, right? Now inside this class, students are males, females, male, female. Okay, for online students, I'm saying that in this class, total approximately 60 students are there. Okay, out of 60 students, 20 students are male and 20 students are female, and not even 20 are there, 15 only is there. 15 students are females are there, and around 45 students are males are there. Approximately, I'm writing approximate, not exact value. Like this, assume. In this class, we are having like this. Now, what is 1 proportion test? 1 proportion means the proportion of females is equal to proportion of males. Is that same? Simple. That you are going to analyze. Here, this is the population data. Sir, based on the population, directly you can say, but I'm not having the population. This entire batch, 730 batch sample, I have taken 10 students. In that 10 students, I have got 5 males and 5 females, miss. Then proportion are same. Now this, you are saying proportion are same based on the sample you are saying. For the sample you are saying, based on the sample, you have to conclude the population. You should not conclude based on the sample. Right? So by seeing this one, see, this is a sample. First, let me write the population. Assume population. In the population, total 15 females are there and 45 males are there. This is the population. Total 60 students are there. I have selected sample of 10. Randomly, I have picked 10. In that 10, I have got with respect to 4 females and 6 males. I have got like this. Now, based on this, you have to confirm about this one. Based on this, directly you can confirm this one directly. You can confirm this one directly. Then no need of doing any kind of hypothesis test. Within this both are proportions are equal or not, miss? You are going to say, sir, no, sir, both are not equal. Here, both are equal, miss? No, sir, not equal. That you are saying based on the sample separate, you are saying based on population, you are saying separately. But by seeing this one, you have to here, this data is not there. Assume this data is not there. Assume the data is not there. Population data is not there. Based on the sample, you have to estimate. Assume that Naresh IT team, one person has came from Naresh IT, admin has came, and he has selected randomly 10 students. And he has selected with respect to randomly 10 students, out of which 5 are females and 5 of males. Now he can decide that in this class, both of them are same proportion. He can say like that. You are saying no because you know the answer. Na? In the class, you know the answer, you are saying no. But based on the sample, we are going to estimate the population. Here, we are not doing the sample analysis separately. We are not doing the population analysis separately. We are doing analysis of one and estimating the other. That is the hypothesis test. Is that clear? So here for discrete variable, you no need to do the normality, because if the gender column is there, male, male, female, male is there, how you can apply the normality for this? Skewness you can't calculate, histogram also you can't apply. Bar chart you can apply. You can't apply the histogram. Now, whereas variance, you can't calculate the variance. Mean also you can't calculate. If you can't calculate mean, then how you can calculate the variance? So this third step will be skipped off for the discrete variable. Directly null and alternate hypothesis, alpha, directly get into the statistical test and calculate the p-value, and based on this accept or reject. Simple. Discrete variable concept is very simple. Now, let us take this one. Let us take this example number 1. Let us go with example number 1. So here the people carry out a poll to find the acceptability of new football coach. It was decided if the support rate for the coach was for the entire population is less than 25, the coach will be fired. Support total, assume that overall population might be anyone, anything. So maybe 10,000 students are there. Assume population. I also don't know the number. Example. 2,000 students they have taken randomly. Out of 10,000, they have selected 2,000 people randomly. And out of which 482 support the new football coach. 482 are supporting, miss. How many are rejecting? Remaining people, 1,518 are rejecting the football coach. Now, you have to conduct a test, and when you are going to remove, miss, if it is less than 25, sir, 482 divided by 2000, if you calculate like this, you'll get the percentage. But this is sample percentage. Based on the sample, you have to estimate the population percentage and conduct a test whether the coach should be continued or fired. Now, what is the null hypothesis for this? What is the null? Coach should be fired is action or no action? Action is coach should be fired. That you have to write here. Coach fired. Coach, whatever the coach is there, coach should not be fired. No action. Already they have selected. Selection process already completed. Their assumption is that person is a nice guy and they have selected. Now they want to check whether this alternate hypothesis is whether you want to fire or not. Okay, coach should not be fired is the alternate hypothesis. Same thing I have written here. So first one is coach should not be fired. No action. No action to be taken is null hypothesis. Action, that is coach should be fired. Now, what is the level of significance? In the question, 95% confidence they asked us. So automatically alpha is equal to 0.05. Step number 3. No need to check the normality, no need to check with respect to variance. Directly you have to move on to the next one called as test only. Here the test is called as one proportion test. So you are having only one column. Out of that, whether accepted or rejected. They have accepted the coach or rejected the coach. In this, only one column will be there. Inside that, accept or reject will be there. Out of accept is 482 people are accepting and 1518 are not accepting the coach. Column is only one. Inside the one column, we are having accept or reject. Now, how many people are accepting? 482 out of 2000. And this percentage is equal to 25% or not. You want to check. And this is the p-value. And based on the p-value, since p-value is greater than alpha, p high, null phi, do not reject the null hypothesis. Is that clear? Next example. Let us go with the next example. Here the data set is not available. No, sir, I want the data set only and I want to check, miss. I will create in front of you only the data set. Okay. With respect to accept the coach, accept, reject, reject. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 are accepting and 6 are not accepting. Now, total, if it is less than 25% of the people are rejecting, miss, then I'm going to fire the coach. Minimum more than 25% of the people should accept. Now for this, what I have to write? Whatever the binom test is there, binom underscore test, total how many are accepting? 4 people out of 10. Whether it is satisfying 25 or not, that you are writing like this. Data is ready. Data set is there. Now inside the data set, you have to apply the first value counts. First you have to apply the value counts. And out of that, you have to get the accept, how many are accepting and how many are rejecting. And whichever accepting that you are writing here, and that acceptance percent of 25% is there or not, you are checking. 25% of the people are accepting means okay. But in Naresh IT, 90% of the people should accept. There, 25% of the people accept also, they will continue the coach. What percentage of people accept they continue the coach means 25%. Just you are going to check. Okay. Is that clear? Now the same question, assume that in Naresh IT, the same students, 10 students are there, out of which 4 students are accepting the trainer. 6 students are rejecting the trainer. Now Naresh IT team wants to check with 90% of the people are accepting or not. Now what we are going to do? Binom underscore test. How many people are accepting? 4 out of 10. Whether it is satisfying 90%, that you have to write like this, 0.9. Now you will get a p-value. Surely the p-value is going to be less than 0.05 only. If you want, you can check also. So here I am writing just 4 students out of 10 students and 90% miss. No, it is not satisfying. P-value is less than, very less, reject the null hypothesis, coach will be 5. Here just in Naresh IT, they are checking whether 90% of the people are accepting the coach or not. If 90% of the people are not accepting the coach means they'll fire. Simply they'll fire. Right? Is that clear? Just it is acceptance ratio, percentage. It's what you want to check. Is that clear? Now, next example is next case study. Johnny Talkers. It is not Johnny Walkers. It is only Johnny Talkers. Okay, this is with respect to soft drink. Okay, Johnny Talkers, soft drink. Don't expect. Okay, okay. Let us continue this one. Now we are having with respect to Johnny Talkers, where the division sales manager, one manager is there and he wants to introduce a new intensive program. Okay, what is this intensive means? If they're going to give the target. If you meet this target, I will give more money. Okay, so if you meet the target, he's going to create the target. Means he's going to develop new thing in order to business, in order to increase the business. He is going to come with a solution that by giving the targets, and if they fulfill the targets, we'll give the some additional money for them so that they will also satisfy and they'll work for the target. Now we have this particular manager wants to create like that. He has got a thought that we have to create a program called as some kind of instances program where we have to give additional money for whoever meeting the targets. He wants to create this one to that sales executive. That sales executives felt that adults won't buy this drink, sir. More than 40, whoever had more than 40, they're not buying this drink, sir. Only your drink is called as a child drink, and only children are drinking this one. The sales executives are saying that we can't meet your target because in the outside, whatever we are having in India, 130 crores people are there, right? These 130 crores are more than 18 years only. Less than 80 years, we have not counted. In India, 130 crores are there. Used to say 130 crores people will be there, right? What is that? More than 18 years only. Less than 18 years, they have not counted. For example, a child of 1 month only is there, that is not counted. Only more than 18 years only they have counted in the population. Now here also, sir, in India, for example, any particular product has to be successful, means first it has to reach to the adults. For children, means only chocolates or biscuits, this will be successful. But if you want to bring a cool drink into the market, means that cool drink should be attracted by the adults. For the children, if their children are there, we can't attract the children, and please cancel this program, sir. Don't introduce this program. They are saying. Sales executives are saying that don't introduce the program. The sales executives felt that adults won't buy this one. Children only will buy. And hence requested the sales manager not to launch the program. Don't launch the program. If you give us the targets, means we can't complete the targets. Because this is a child drink, we can't complete the target. Now this manager, whatever the manager is there, whatever these people are saying, whether it is true or false, he wants to check. I have released in the market, and now these sales executives are saying my cool drink is a child drink. Whether it is a true or false, he wants to check. Now what they have done is they have collected the data. This is the data. Data is Johnny Talker's data. Now in this Johnny Talker's, first they have given to the adult. He has not purchased. Adult, 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 purchased. Like this, I am having with adults who are purchased, and at the same time who are not purchased also. Okay, adults with purchase is there. Adults with not purchase also is there. Similarly, children with purchase is there. Children with not purchase also is there. Okay, children with purchase and children with not purchase. First proportion. This is first column. What is first proportion? Proportion number 1 is adult versus child. This is proportion number 1. Second proportion. What is the second proportion? Purchase versus non-purchase. So now 2 proportions you are having. So you have to apply the 2 proportion test for this one. First proportion is adult versus child. That is the proportion. Second proportion is whether purchased or not purchased is the second proportion. Person and whether they have purchased or not. So 2 columns you are having. So now you have to apply the 2 proportion test. So now first I am going to load the data. And inside this, if I see total 1220 records are there with 2 columns. Now persons. Now total 740 children are there. Adults are 480 are there. Okay. Now within that drinks 1010 or out of 1220 in the first column, in the column number 1, we are having children with 740 children are there and 480 adults are there. Sample. This is a sample data. Again, same second column, out of 120, 1010 are not purchased. They have not purchased, and 210 are purchased. But within 740 children, how many people has purchased and how many not purchased? Within 480, how many purchased, how many not purchased? I want that one. Then what I have to do? I have to apply the cross tab. 2 discrete variables, we are going to apply the cross tab. Now you can see this one. Within the total adults of 480, this is 480. Out of 480, 422 are not purchased. 48 only purchased. And in the children, within the children of 780, 152 purchased out of 780. Now question is whether the 58 divided by 480 is equal to 152 divided by 780 or not. Sorry, 740. 152 divided by 740 is whether both of them are same or not. The proportion of buying by the adults, the proportion of buying by the children, both are same or not. That is the question. Sir, by saying itself, you can say, na, first you calculate this value, and directly you say, miss, that is sample. Based on the sample, you have to estimate the population. So what we are going to do, whether these both the proportions are equal or not, we have to check. Now, what is the null hypothesis for this case? What is the null hypothesis? Both are equal. Proportions of persons buying the children, by children, proportion of children is equal to proportion of adults. Both are same. Null hypothesis is both are not same. That is the null hypothesis. See, proportion of adults is equal to proportion of children is the null hypothesis. If both are same, miss, I'm going to introduce the program. I will not change. If proportion is not same, miss, I will take the action by not introducing the program. By default, I have fixed my assumption is both are equal, and I have started the program, that is instance use program, whatever the new program is there that I have started as a sales manager. But whether to be continued or to be discontinued, I want to stop or I have to continue, miss, I am applying the hypothesis test. Now level of significance is 0.05. I am applying the two proportion test. This two proportion test is available in the stats module. Stats models. It is available in the stats models. It is not available in the SciPy. Two proportion test is not available in the SciPy. Earlier, all the tests are available in the SciPy, but this two proportion test is not available in the SciPy library. Two proportion test you can get only using the with respect to stats model. So from the stats model dot stats dot proportion, import the proportions underscore g test. This is the two proportion test. First proportion 58 out of 480. So 58 out of 480 is equal to 152 divided by 740. Means how many purchased is 58 and 152. Total is 480 and 740. These two parameters you have to give as the input. You have to give the input as these two parameters. So if you observe this one, sir, how I can know these two parameters? These two parameters has to be given, miss. Just open the help file. Okay, first you this one and open the help file. If you open the help file, see here clearly you can see the first one. What is the first one is called as count. You have to give the count. What is the second one is knobs. These are the two compulsory arguments, whereas others are default arguments. So default arguments just ignore. So compulsory arguments are counts and knobs. Sir, what is meant by count? Count is nothing but number of success in the knob tries. Knob tries means total tries. Total tries is with respect to 480, out of which successful is 52. Out of 740, successful is one is 58 and second one is 152. So count is nothing but how many of them are success divided by total. Knobs is total, count is nothing but success. Successful tries. Whatever your requirement is there, for that requirement, how many of them are satisfying your requirement. Your requirement is not to drink, miss, that one only you have to count. If your requirement is how many are drinking, miss, that you have to count. Your requirement is the count. Whatever your requirement is there, that is count. Whatever the total is there, this is the total. Right? So just you are going to apply the same logic, and here you are going to see the p-value. This is the p-value. Since p-value is less than alpha, p low, null go, reject the null hypothesis, and reject the null hypothesis means accept the alternate. Alternate is nothing but both the proportions are not equal, and don't launch the program. So both the proportions are not equal. Children are drinking more, whereas adults are drinking very less. Both the proportions are not same. Don't launch the program. After analyzing the data, the sales manager is going to decide that he will not launch the program. If in the sample data, if it is clear that both are same, miss, he will launch the program and he will make others to fulfill the target. Right? For example, if you take in the Naresh IT, we are having admin. Offline admins are there, online admins are there. Online admins or whatever the executives are there, they are going to call initially. Initially, they will call you, sir, tomorrow there is a class, please attend the class. And if you are interested, please give your feedback. And if you are interested, miss, please pay the fee. They'll call every time, right? The initial days. Now what they are doing, and if we have given them a target, for example, data science course is there and data science by SRK. We know that minimum number of students will be this one. That is past data. We have analyzed in the past data that minimum students of 50 or 60 will be there. Assume. We are going to give the same target. Now, for example, the same course was with respect to like Power BI. In Power BI, if you give the target of 50 minutes, the admin will die, literally. They can't complete because in Power BI, just only 10 people or 15 people will join. Because there is no much openings on Power BI, exclusively on Power BI. If there is no much openings, students will not be attracted towards that course. Students are not attracting means then what admin can do? Students generally will learn which course they will learn, which is having more jobs only they will learn. Which is not having jobs, why they will learn? Only Power BI is not having with respect to jobs. With respect to full stack Power BI, again it is having the jobs. Full stack Power BI means with SQL. You have to learn the SQL with Power BI and along with that Power Apps. If you learn the Power Apps and along with that Power Automate, if you learn this everything, then there is a job. If you learn only Power BI, sir, I have completed my Power BI, sir, but I'm not getting the job, means you'll not get the job. Because whoever has completed like this, multiple students are there in the market. Then why we have to give priority for you? Simple logic. Similarly, in the data science also, if you learn only machine learning, there is no use. Data scientist means along with the machine learning, deep learning, along with that statistics. Whatever is required for the industry, we have to learn that one. What we have learned industry you have to take means they will not take. You should not demand the industry. You can't ask the company, you take me. You can't demand, right? If the requirements are satisfied means automatically they will only take. First, you have to see the requirements of the company. And as per the requirements of the company, you create the course. Once the students initially, for example, tomorrow you are starting as a trainer. You only starting as a trainer, assume, example. Now, whenever you are starting as a trainer, first you have to see the industry requirements. Now, more number of openings where they are. And according to that, you have to select the course first. Within that course, you have to give the maximum content related to placement, at the end, placement. Now, once you have started your course is first time you are starting, maybe 5 students you may get initially. But these 5 out of 5 students get placed means next batch 10 out of 10 students you'll get. Next batch 15, next batch 40, next batch 500, next batch 10,000. If you show the placements means everyone will come. If this for 5 people also you have not shown the placements means who will join? None of them will give the mouth publicity, none of them will come, right? Simple logic, that is. Why Naresh is more popular? Because more number of students are getting placed and they are giving the mouth publicity to others. In Amirpet, that too in the students area, they are giving with respect to the, obviously everyone knows that students will discuss each other. If you go to tea stall and if someone is discussing Power BI opening only, Arey, Power BI opening is there, can you share me? We'll ask directly. Unknown person only will ask. In hostel, obviously students will discuss, right? That is minimum common sense. That is the same strategy that applied in the business. Just we have to create the course and which gives that one. So similarly, this one also the same. Here this person wants the business. For that business, he has got a thought. That sales manager has got a thought that why we can't introduce with a intensive program by giving the target. This target will be met by, if it is okay miss, they will meet. If you can't do miss, none of them will work, right? Is that clear? This is the importance of data analyst. Now, based on the data analyst, the program will be decided. The salaries will be decided. Right? If the analysis was done wrongly, assume that you have taken the null hypothesis in opposite way. Null and alternate hypothesis you have formulated in opposite way, and based on the alpha you have concluded that both the proportions are equal. Now what happens? Now as a sales manager, assume that you are a sales manager. You are sales manager. Now you have your data analyst has told that both are same. They have done wrongly. Assume they have given that both proportions are same. Now as a sales manager, what you will do? You will start the intensive program. Whatever the program is there, you will start and you will give the target. Now the persons, case executives are there, right? They will try to fulfill the target. They will not complete the target. 1 month will not be completed. Second month will not be completed. Third month they'll get frustrated and they will leave the company also. Now it is going to affect the entire company. If the people are leaving the company, sales executives are leaving the companies, miss the whatever the present sales also there, that one also will not be there. So proper care must be taken while formulating the null and alternate hypothesis. You can see the importance of analysis, hypothesis testing analysis. Next, the next one is with respect to this one. Read. One research company, they have given their work to 4 different peoples. One from India, one from China, one from Sri Lanka, and one from Bangladesh. Let us remove the China and Russia. Okay. If you are interested, miss, you can continue with China. Okay. I will edit in the PDF also later. Okay. Now you can continue. Read. Regional centers in South Asia, that is India, China, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. They have given that one and they are filling the values. So each one will do the mistakes, data entry. Now, whatever the data entry is there, whatever the Indian companies are doing the data entry and China companies doing the data entry, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, everyone are equal or everyone are different. If everyone are different means who is better? And for them, we'll give them more projects. We'll assign more work for them. If you give more work means automatically they will do the more hirings and they will give them more employment for their people accordingly. Right? Now the same thing will be done by the American companies also. In American companies, whatever the companies are there, whatever the projects they are having, they will check with respect to in UK or in France, in Germany, or with respect to India and Pakistan and Sri Lanka, whatever the countries are there, they'll check with respect to the companies. In every country, IT companies are there. Now, out of the IT companies, which companies are doing very fastly and without saying any kind of silly reasons and doing their work? For example, if I ask you have you practiced yesterday means, no sir, after going to home due to some work. Yes or no? Practiced or no practiced? Yes or no? We require only that one. We don't want your silly reasons. Whether it is a major reason, whether it is a silly reason, we don't want that one. Have you practiced means you'll get the job. Not practice means you'll only not get the job. Simple. Okay. Now here just which country is having with respect to we are analyzing which country is having the defective percentage is less. We have to identify. If everyone are equal means everyone are equal. So what I'm going to have is the data set. This is the data set where I'm having with respect to the defective, 0 means defective and 1 means non-defective. So I have given in the here 1 means non-defective, 0 means defective. So you are having with respect to like this. So whatever the zeros and ones with respect to India is there, same zeros and ones with respect to China is there. Same zeros and ones with respect to Sri Lanka is there. Same zeros and ones with respect to Bangladesh is there. Now here we are having with respect to more than 2 proportions. Proportion 1 is with respect to India. In India, 0 and 1s. Second proportion is with respect to China, 0 and 1s. Third proportion is with respect to Bangladesh, 0 and 1s. And Sri Lanka, 0 and 1s. So we are having more than 2 proportions. So we are going to apply the chi-square test for this. So first we are going to load the data and what we are going to see, what is the null hypothesis? All proportions are equal. Everyone are doing the same. Proportions are not equal. Null hypothesis is, alternate hypothesis is difference in the proportions. Now, whatever we are having here, first we are going to apply the cross tab and for each of them, total we are having with respect to 200. Out of 200, 183 with zeros and 17. 179 with zeros and 21. 175 with this one, 25. And this one. Like this we are having with respect to each of them, proportion. Whether all the proportions are same or not. Means 17 divided by 200 is equal to 21 divided by 200 and 25 divided by 200 is equal to 22 divided by 200. Is everything are same or not? As per the population, not based on the sample. Based on the sample, everyone are not equal. That I also know. But for this population, I want to estimate for the population. So what we are going to do is we are going to apply the chi-square. So chi-square test, stats.chi-square test. Inside this, we have to give the input. We have to give the cross tab. This function was created by selecting the cross tab. So this function was created like that. So this function is going to take the observed. So if you see here, the argument is called as observed. What is that observed means? That observed is called as conjugacy table. Conjugacy table is nothing but cross tab table. One table. So it is going to take the cross tab, and based on the cross tab, it will work. And it is going to give me the p-value. This is the p-value. So total, it is going to return 4 values. Out of 4 values, my requirement is with respect to p-value. So you can see here, it is going to return, one is test statistic value, second one is p-value, third one is DOF value, fourth one is expected value. So my requirement is p-value, which is in the second position. So in the second position, p-value, that is 0.63. This value I require. So this value is p is greater than alpha, p high, null phi, accept the null hypothesis, means all the proportions are same. Is that clear? This is with respect to chi-square test. So these are the various different hypothesis tests are there. And whatever the hypothesis testing is there, this entire hypothesis testing in real life with data scientist, we are not going to use. In that data scientist life, we are not going to use the hypothesis test. Means this type, this is data analyst role. This is data analyst role, not the data scientist role. In this, only one thing I am going to use in my machine learning. Only some basic part, just 5% I am going to use. That too, one sample z-test. That is the reason very clearly I have explained one sample z-test. Remaining things I have explained with the coding part. This only I am going to use as a data scientist. Remaining everything is data analyst role. Okay. But in certifications, you'll get these questions also. Certifications will not be with respect to from stats dot you have to select. That is not the certification question. If more than 2 samples are there, in discrete variables, more than 2 are there, or you have to select which test, 1 proportion test, 2 proportion test, chi-square test. That will be the question. That's it. Is that clear, guys? Any questions? With this, hypothesis test is completed. Entire within the statistics or entire data science confusion topic is completed. Okay, from tomorrow we are going to start the machine learning. Actual data science work will start from tomorrow. Sir, ANOVA test once again. Yeah, guys who have attended lately in the online, please stay back. I will take your questions. For offline students, let me complete and I will take your question. Class is completed. Okay, just wait for 5 minutes. Online students, wait for 5 minutes. వెళ్ళి ఒకసారి వెబ్సైట్ ఓపెన్ చేయండి.